What we do is help, our clients, small, medium-sized business owners, franchise their business to kind of help them get systems and structure and processes in place. What we find is most small business owners are very technically oriented. They're very good at, delivering the product or service of the business that they're in. They're not necessarily very good at running the business. So, for example, we deal with dentists that are really good on working on people's teeth, or restaurant owners that are maybe really good cooks, or computer fix-it people that are really good at fixing computers. But as far as running a dental practice or running a restaurant, usually these owners have some gaps, have some challenges that they're stuck with. So what we do is kind of come in, help them get systems, get structure, get processes, get disciplines in place within their business. And what we call that is franchisitizing it, making it standard operating processes, procedures. And by doing this, this allows a business to run a lot more efficiently, a lot more effectively. If you want to scale up sales, it's critical. If you don't have systems in place, you're going to reach a threshold a lot quicker. And if you have systems in place, you can kind of continue to run more and more business through that system. The other thing it does is if the owner ever wants to kind of turn around and sell the business by adding the structure, the systems, the things like this, it's really going to help.
I begin the process of really engaging that owner or that leader in a conversation. And that conversation has to go somewhere. But usually it exposes a gap between where that owner is in their business and where they'd like to see themselves in that business. And I really start asking about what that gap is all about, how it impacts them, and how it plays out in their personal life ultimately.
This issue of starting with a client is a very interesting one. How do you determine the best place to start? I think the challenge that we sometimes have in being as AdviCoach and being in a franchise coaching business is that sometimes people think that there's a cookie-cutter approach to how you might work with a client, and that you're going to follow some process, and at the end of it, everybody's going to pop out the same. Exactly the opposite is the case. When we work with a client, it's really the client that determines where we start. We usually start at least with a discussion of their goals and what they want to achieve, but what comes out of that often are places in the business that really need some immediate help and where we can get some relatively quick impact, either financially or from a standpoint of more time or more efficiency in the business. And so it just depends. For every client, we look at what are those key areas of relatively rapid impact, and how can we sort of address that.